You guys, something just happened that nobody expected. For years, people have joked that Jason Nash would never go against David Dobrik. No matter what David said or did, Jason would laugh it off, agree, and move on. Because a lot of people believe his career depends on that friendship. But that image just cracked. Behind the scenes, things got so heated between them that they had to scrap part of their podcast recording. And when clips finally surfaced, fans realized this wasn't just a small disagreement. This was the moment Jason finally snapped. And it all started with something that sounds almost ridiculous at first: an airport line. But it goes way deeper than that. For a long time, the dynamic between David and Jason has been complicated. David is the one with the massive platform, the money, and the lifestyle, while Jason has always been seen as the older friend who goes along with everything. Online, people constantly say he agrees with David because it benefits him financially, and that he wouldn't risk that relationship no matter what. Until now, there wasn't much proof to challenge that idea. But during what should have been a normal group trip, something shifted instantly and exposed a tension that had clearly been building for a while. Everything kicked off after the Vlog Squad returned from a trip to Rio. When they landed back in the US, they ran into a nightmare at the airport. The security lines were massive, stretching for hours, with people arriving in the middle of the night and still missing their flights. It was complete chaos. Most people would just accept it and wait, but David had a different approach. Instead of standing in line, he paid for Clear, which already costs a couple $100s, but even that line was packed. So he paid another $100 just to skip to the very front. And not just for himself, but for multiple people. To David, it was simple. Problem solved. Money well spent. In his mind, it was a no-brainer. Jason, however, saw something completely different. At first, it sounded like a normal disagreement. Jason started breaking it down, clearly frustrated, explaining how he ended up spending around $400 just to get through airport security. Not because he was late, but because the situation forced him into it. You could hear it in his voice. This wasn't just annoyance. He was genuinely upset.
Yeah. And the line was crazy. Like out the door of the airport, crazy.
Yeah.
We had to sign up for Clear. Did you already have Clear?
I had to re-sign up.
Yeah, okay. So we signed up for Clear, which was whatever, great deal, $200. Got us into the Clear line, which was the length of a regular line at the airport, right?
They're just like making so much money just signing everyone up for Clear, and then you're not getting to go through. You're not getting the benefits of Clear. So Naveen bought Clear, I bought Clear, and then that was $400. That was $300, so we got a little discount. And then we were in the Clear line, and I was going to miss my flight, and this guy had given us a pass for $99. So then I pay another $100. It cost me $400 to get through the.
Hold on, you're not even explaining how cool this is. This is like you're like complaining about it. This is like the coolest feature ever.
What's cool?
What are you talking about?
Clear?
Yeah. You got to, I would brag about this till the end of time. You paid $100 to skip. There were people that got to that airport today at 2:30 in the morning for a 6 a.m. flight and then missed their flight. For $100, you could take you plus 4 people, and Clear literally walks you to the front of every line, in front of the Clear line also.
To him, this wasn't about convenience. It was about how broken the system was. The idea that someone could do everything right and still have to pay hundreds of dollars just to avoid missing their flight didn't sit right with him. But David couldn't see the issue. Instead, he doubled down, talking about how incredible it was and how people around them were amazed that you could skip hundreds of people for just $100. Like it was some kind of life hack.
Jason came up to me first and there was like, they're charging $100 to get you through this line.
Yeah.
And the guy that was right in front of me was like, that's got to be a scam. There's no way that you can get through this line just for $100, right?
Right.
And then the woman behind me was like, there's no way just for $100 I can get to the front of this line. Everybody around me like could not believe this deal.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to try this thing. And I did it. And everyone, the people that were around me were mind blown.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were like, so I'm shocked that you're looking at it as a negative.
I look at it. I'm just looking at it. It cost me $400 to get through security.
Yeah, but you would have missed your flight, and you
You
would
would
have
have
had
missed your
to.
flight, brother.
I know, but guys, there's something wrong with our system. If it costs me $400 to get through,
It's a government shutdown. What are you talking about? Of
Okay,
course
well, there's a larger.
there was not a system.
There is a
You literally skipped the line during a time when there was not a system.
brother.
I don't know. I don't know. How
I can't believe you don't. I see what you're saying.
I understand.
Not only
I'm
both
that-
trying to
sides.
look at this
Not
as
only
like
that, but now you have Clear for 2 years.
That's when the tone started to change. Jason wasn't arguing about whether it worked. He was questioning why it should exist at all. And David just wasn't getting it.
I think you look at it. You look at money differently. Like that's insane for a regular person that's gonna miss their flight to be like, oh, I'm out $400 because I wasn't late for my flight. We had 2 hours to get through to do everything. Like I was on time. I was there.
Yeah.
Like that. Up.
I wasn't late for my flight is a crazy way to think. It's not the situation. The situation is then and there, right in that moment. How do I get to the front of the line? Oh, $25 a person will get me to skip 600 people. I think that is a no-brainer.
Did your friends Venmo you the 25?
No, obviously not.
Right.
If it was any other situation, though, like, yeah, $25 a person to make your flight is insane. Is insane.
Agreed.
Is insane. And for me, the $100 was worth it because the extra time I had by skipping that line, I got to go buy Qdoba. And we don't have Qdoba anywhere near me. So it was worth paying an extra $100 just for a burrito alone.
The conversation stopped being about the airport and quickly became personal. The energy shifted, and suddenly, it wasn't just a debate anymore. It was a clash of two completely different realities. Jason started calling it out directly, saying David looks at money differently and that what seems small to him is actually insane for a regular person. You could feel the frustration building as Jason tried to explain the bigger picture, while David kept bringing it back to one point, that it worked, so it was worth it. But Jason wasn't letting it go, because in his mind, that logic ignored the real issue. Things escalated fast. At one point, the argument got so intense that they couldn't even use the footage. They later admitted they tried to record the full discussion, but it turned into such a heated back and forth that they had to scrap it. A small clip did come out though, and in it, Jason says something nobody expected. He calls David out for being out of touch, not jokingly, but seriously. And David fires back just as hard, criticizing Jason's spending habits, his lifestyle, and even personal choices. It turns into them breaking each other down in real time, and suddenly, it doesn't feel like entertainment anymore. It feels real. The internet picked up on it immediately. As soon as people saw what happened, the comments exploded. And surprisingly, most weren't on David's side. People started calling him out for being disconnected from reality and speaking from a place of privilege without realizing it. Instead of acknowledging how crazy the situation was, they felt like he kept trying to justify it as normal. Some even pointed out that the amount they paid just to skip the line was more than what many people spend on their actual flight. That hit a nerve, because Jason was essentially saying what a lot of viewers were already thinking. So David came back later and tried to explain himself. He said there was missing context, that he wasn't just thinking about one ticket, but managing flights for multiple people, including employees, with total costs reaching tens of thousands of dollars.
Like, that's like, and then I made the point to Jason. Jason's like, why didn't you mention this on the podcast before? And I'm like, because I didn't feel like I needed to.
Right.
And like, I still don't want to, but I will say it just for the sake of this argument. I'm booking all the majority flights for our friends. So it's like $30,000 to $40,000 in tickets.
Yeah.
So like, and that's also employees that are flying that I would have to pay for another day if they're stuck somewhere.
Yeah.
So me paying $25 a head, in total $100 to move 4 people across the line is pennies as opposed to rebooking flights.
Agreed.
Like it doesn't even compare.
If they missed that flight, it wouldn't just be inconvenient, it would be expensive to fix. From that perspective, paying extra up front made sense. And logically, it does. But that wasn't really the argument Jason was making. Jason wasn't saying David made the wrong decision. He was saying the situation itself was wrong. That a system where people have to pay extra just to keep what they already paid for is broken. And more importantly, that someone in David's position should at least recognize how abnormal that is. Instead, David kept framing it like a win.
That is the most victim mentality. And that's honestly...
And I'm sorry you don't have anyone in your life.
That's you in a nutshell, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, explained at the airport.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's always not enough money. I want to take the bougiest, the highest road ever, but then all of a sudden I'm broke. I mean, is that not Natalie?
Natalie? I was in economy for 10 hours.
I mean,
how can you say that? Did I complain? Never.
I want the privilege of getting the highest, nicest things, but then I'm complaining about me not having money. That is Jason Nash in a nutshell.
Oh my God!
Natalie,
I'm traveling with 10 friends.
I can't afford my kids. Why? Because they Ubered Khloe Kardashian's house in a black car and have lunch at Airwine. And then I don't have enough money. That is Jason Nash in a nutshell.
Oh my God.
I mean, is it not?
And you in a nutshell is you are so out of touch.
My nutshell is I have 10 employees to get through to the
You're in a $14 million house and you are so out of touch.
Congratulations,
and you get Airwine every day.
Because I earned it.
You earned.
I mean, Natalie.
You earned
I mean, I think you guys are doing a good job.
You filmed your friends being up and you got a big house out of it.
Like a great deal, something worth celebrating. And that's the part that didn't sit right with people. Because in the end, this wasn't really about money. It was about perspective. Two people went through the exact same situation and walked away with completely different views. One saw efficiency, the other saw a problem. And while neither is entirely wrong, the disconnect between them is what made this blow up. And maybe the most surprising part is that Jason was the one who spoke up. The person everyone expected to stay quiet finally pushed back. And not just a little, but enough to create real tension and shift how people see their relationship. So now the question is, was David just being practical, or did this moment finally expose something people have been noticing for a long time? Because if one argument over an airport line can turn into this, what else has been building behind the scenes? And more importantly, is this just the beginning of something bigger?